चालेल. आता your recording is on.
Okay. Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai. Mahayogi Swami Umanand Saraswati ki jai. Today we have decided, yes, Milind Dond is also here. Milind, also let me know when Maya is coming, send me the details, okay? Right. Today we are going to talk about Bhagwadgeeta, because Jnandev's basic text itself was Jnaneshwari. Now Jnandev had written 4 major texts. I will just give you the key message of these 4 texts. The first text, which was for depressed or distressed type of devotees who were not very highly educated, or let us say for people who are very simple and they would not have gone through the activities such like yogas or austerities or any difficult activities or for spiritual development. So he had recommended only taking chanting of name, which we saw in Haripat last time. Then he also has given a message to great yogis. One of the greatest yogis was Changdev, and a man who was of high intellect and high achievements of siddhis and all. He also was given a message by Jnandev. That message is very important. That message was, in case, because Jnandev wanted to know more about Jnandev. He was curious that a young boy could have become so popular, and he was very keen on meeting. Whereas Changdev had almost lived for almost 1400 years, he had challenged death 42 times. 42 times, and he was able to continue living. So he was wondering how could Nandev, a boy of 16, be so popular and be so welcomed and accepted by the other, a large following. So he wanted to meet Nandev, but he did not know how to address, whether to address him as a younger boy or an elderly person or a respected, a revered person. So he sent a blank message. And knowing that message was because it was not, not knowing how to address Nandev. Muktabai, youngest sister of Nandev, said that the man is yet not very enlightened. So it was a message given to such a yogi. So what was the key message there? The key message was, if you wish to know me, as a saint or as a person, it is best to know your deep self. Go to your consciousness, go to the level of your consciousness, and then you will know me. Now, this is the secret of Changdev Pasashti. If anybody, for example, let's take a simple example. Suppose you have a poor person is on the streets and is desperately hungry, and suppose we all tend to pass by one, after the other, without all of us meeting. But all of us will want to give him something to eat because we'll be close to our consciousness. So it is a plane. It's a plane on which we all will be landing mentally, intellectually. And that plane which will commonly be bringing of the anonymous thinking of helping the poor for the food or something, that level, that plane itself is a universal consciousness which is considered to be God by Jnandev. Jnandev calls it God. It's actually, go deep into your own conscious self and you will meet me there. You will know that we two are the same. Says Jnandev to Changdev. This is the message of Changdev Pasashti. Then third, of course, when we go to Jnandev's Jnaneshwari, we realize that third message in that is Karma Yoga. It is for the people who are normal, living like you and me, and we are asked to just do our duties, but duty-oriented life, not desire-oriented. This was the key message of Bhagwadgeeta, of Jnaneshwari, which is actually a commentary on Bhagwadgeeta. So today we are going to take almost a few key sentences on Bhagwadgeeta, so we know exactly what Jnandev had supported. First, we saw that he said chanting of name is enough. Second, he saw go to your conscious level and I will be there. And third, he says do your duties well. Now, duties well, which are duty-oriented actions, not desire-oriented. And then he says, get enlightened and try and travel. If you are enlightened, you should travel, not be sitting at one place. Try and meet different people, lead them to their consciousness and tell them that it is universally consciousness, which is interlinking all of us, is actually none other than the God himself. So these are the key messages of Jnandev. So we are going to take almost, first we'll take only 9 chapters today of Bhagavad Gita, and we will just refer to one line, each key sentence of that message, of that chapter. Bhagavad Gita, it starts with a dilemma. It's a Bhagavad Gita, it is describing a war, a battle between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. And the Pandav prince Arjun is on the battlefield and he's accompanied with by Lord Krishna as his charioteer. And now at the time of the battle, at the very crucial moment of that battle time, Arjun now decides whether he should fight or not, because the people whom he's going to fight against are his own kith and kin. They are brethren, they are cousins. Now, but that was not the place. So sometimes we are all thrown off balance when we are made to choose something, which is like a dilemma for us. We are made to choose and we are not sure whether we do this or the other. Now, this is a key starting point of Bhagavad Gita, that every individual lands up in a crucial situation sometimes, not knowing which path is right. Whether to fight or not to fight, whether to have, not to have, whether to meet or not to meet, whether to say or not to say. So all of us are thrown into a dilemma, and that is the first chapter. It begins with a dilemma where Arjun is not sure whether he should fight. Now Sri Krishna is a mastermind. Because you see, sometimes when situations are difficult, you should have a very experienced person to handle it there and then. You need a very trained mind to do it. And Krishna was trained, or more than I should say trained, he was experienced with a similar situation against his own uncle, Kans. Should he fight against Kans or not was his choice. And he realized it, he had realized it, he had enacted it, he had killed Kans, and therefore now he had the master authority to advise Arjun, because he had gone through a similar situation where Kans was also directly related to Krishna, and Krishna had to fight against his own uncle. So there was a man who was with experience there with Arjun. There was not a man without an experience. We could have said, no, I have never done it. I have never fought with my own cousins, so how can I tell you to fight? Is what we probably would have ended saying it had we been there with Arjun. But it does not happen so with Krishna. Krishna knows the situation, that if it is a war against a very cruel personality, you have got to realize either you kill or you get killed. So this was the second. So obviously the second message was, but yet Krishna does not directly say, no, you need to fight. He doesn't say that. He wants him to realize and voice it himself, because it's an action, it's a karma, which has to be decided by the person who is in charge of the karma, who is supposed to be directly responsible for it. So Krishna does not tell Arjun that, no, you need to fight. He does not say that. He just tells them, choose what is right for a longer duration. The duration has to be chosen. That is, what would be good in the long interest? Fighting or not fighting. So choose between the two, which is good in the long interest. The situation was because death is inevitable, and fame is another opposing thing here. That he says, you have earned your credit so long as a good warrior. Today, would you like to lose that credit as a warrior? And because death is inevitable. Even if one dies on the battlefield, it's inevitable. Someday we are going to die. So he says, do you want to lose your fame also? So the choice was made between two things, one which lasts ever long for a lifetime, and the other is a short living situation. So he says, choose between the two. So that was the advice given by Krishna in chapter 2. So he says in chapter 2, what is beneficial in the long run for you, choose that. Now, this is a very sound advice given to you. For example, suppose I'm being a diabetic, I'm not supposed to have sweet, and I say I would like to have it. So the person or the doctor will recommend. He says you have a little. Keep in mind that it is not good for you in the long run. In the long run, having sugar every day is not good. So you might as well, if at all you are tempted, have little, but realize it that it is not good in the long run. So that is what has to be considered when you have to take a decision. If it's a dilemma, whether it is going to work in the long run, your interest. So if at all the choice has to be made, you have to make it very carefully. Bhagavad Gita can be applied to your day-to-day life also. Even if it is a dilemma between should I go and thrash the person out who has been mean to me or something, suddenly the second voice will say, is it good? You are going to be neighbors for long. Should you be doing it? So this sort of a control is given to you by Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a remarkable text. We need to apply it rightly. It could be wrongly interpreted, and it could also be carrying wrong messages for the world. So the interpreter is supposed to be very responsible person. He has to see that the best is brought out of the human beings, not the worst. So therefore, third chapter is also very beautiful. Third chapter says, choose between it. You have to have your ability. Ability also is to be taken into consideration when it comes to a deal. You have a dilemma, okay. Now you have chosen to do right as per your what is beneficial for you in the long run, yes. But now do you have the ability? Let's take a simple example. You want to go to engineering or you want to go to medicine. It's a dilemma. I've got 90%, I want to go to one of them, which is well. So what are your interests? So what is your ability? Are you more interested, or do you have a bent towards medicine, or do you have a bent towards electronics or engineering? So you have to choose as per your ability and capacity. In Bhagavad Gita, the choice was between Jnana Yogina Sankhya, Karma Yogina Yogi. So Jnana Yoga is a person who can apply intellect and do it, all right, do it. But if you can't apply intellect and you're not very much into it, studies of things like that, then you use another, which is Karma Yoga. That was given in Bhagavad Gita. Now again, third one with Haripat, it was that if you can't do even Karma Yoga, let's not worry, just chant the name of it. So options are also given to them, but go as per your ability. If it is easier for you to do Karma Yoga, you do Karma Yoga. If it is easier for you to study, then you go for Jnana Yoga. And if it is easier for you to just chant the name, then go for the chanting. This sort of a choice is given to you. So Bhagavad Gita gives you plenty of options. So therefore, that third chapter also offers you an option, but depending upon your ability, you need to make the choice. Choice has to be as per your ability. First is, if it is a dilemma, you have to choose what is good in the long run. And third, see whether you are capable of handling that situation you have decided to undertake. That ability comes very important. The fourth chapter takes you to perform whatever you have chosen to do, perform it religiously. Now the question, the word used in Bhagavad Gita is yajna. Think that it is a yajna. It's a ritual, which is a righteous ritual. And when you do it, whatever you have decided to do, if you have decided to do it, but then do it wholeheartedly. That is the message. Wholeheartedly. Look upon it as a religious activity if you value religion, or you look upon it as something important for you because of your name, career, whatever it is. But see that whatever you decide to do it, you give your full attention to it. Be completely one with that activity, because then alone it will be successful. So Bhagavad Gita is giving a key message to all of us in our day-to-day life. And that is very important. That's why Bhagavad Gita has lasted so long. And it has been interpreted even for management. It can be taken for stress management. You can read the message in that. You can take any topic for the day or any situation in your life, and you can apply these. And these 18 sentences which I'm going to give you, you apply it accordingly. You will see that any situation you have, you'll be able to find a solution for it. Now the fifth one, I said first, the fourth one was do act religiously. Whatever you are doing it, you do it wholeheartedly. Then comes the fifth chapter. In fifth chapter, he says, you do it, but keep in mind that it is a duty-oriented activity. And it is not a, yes, duty-oriented. It cannot be a desire-oriented activity. You cannot do an action because you like it or you don't like it. Now, you have to do it because you are supposed to do it. That is the basic thing that has to be. So you have to be guided by what is your duty rather than whether you like it or not. They are very sound principles which are given to us. If at all there is a dilemma, you choose what is right in the long interest. You do as per your ability. You do it religiously, and you do it with the intention of doing your duty more than your likes and dislikes. They are just simple, they're simple situations. You take any situation, they're simple formulas. Apply to that and you'll realize it. Then there is a sixth one. Sixth chapter takes you towards training your mind. You need to train your mind to make a quick decision. Normally, people who are appointed for jobs and all, they are called, they are asked whether they have undergone a training or they are experienced people. Why? Because they will be able to take instant decisions. Their actions will carry some speed. If a person is new and untrained, he will keep on wondering, should I do it or not? Should we do it? Will this be right? If I do this way, will it go wrong? So you will be wasting time. So why do you need a trained person? Because the situation is such a so situation. Unless, because Krishna was a trained person, he had experienced it. So he was instantly able to imagine it. You are on the battlefield, the enemy is right in front of you, and suddenly Arjun decides that he should not be warring against, and he leaves his Dhanushaban, that is bow and arrow, and he sits down and he says, no, I'm not going to fight. Now, at such a crucial moment, you can imagine, all of us go through such situations. Suppose you are asked to giving a program on the stage, and suppose you go on a stage and suddenly you get nervous, you get cold feet, and you say, no, I don't want to do my act, and then you come away. So you can imagine, these are the situations where you need to act and you're not able to act instantly. So you need to have a trained mind frame. And for that training, you need to do it right from childhood. So Krishna was experienced, and therefore, luckily, fortunately with Arjuna, it was Krishna was there. So he was able to instantly say, look here, this is not what is to be done. Think very quickly about it. And he was able to maintain his own patience. He did not lose his patience. Or he could have said, look here, I'm going away, whether you fight or you don't fight, it's your choice. I'm leaving the chariot and walk away. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. Master stays with him. Master stays with him. It's a text is remarkable. Of course, it's when you start reading it, you feel it's something like a common, but yes. But if you go systematically through it, you'll realize that these key messages really give you a clue to how you live your normal life of today. You have got to see that is very important. So he says, how do you train your mind? He's introduced the concept of yoga for training and all. But more than that, as we had said, that either you chant, but best is what was given to Sangdev Pasashti. What was given in Sangdev Pasashti? Reach to your consciousness, and we both won't disagree. Krishna says, go to your consciousness. Do you think they are going to spare you if you run away from here? Do you think they're going to consider, the enemy is going to consider that you're kind, and that's why you have left the battlefield? No, they will think that you are frightened. They are going to follow you. So reach to your consciousness. That is the message which is very important for all of us. Anytime you feel that you are right or wrong, because this choice is given to you, and the choice does emerge from your within self itself. It doesn't need to come from outside. For consciousness to be speaking to you, you don't need to sit in a meditative position. You have to be in a situation, an active situation, where instantly you will be told this is right and this is wrong. You don't need to close your eyes also. For visit by a consciousness to you, you don't need an eyes closed and open, or a meditation or appointment or anything of that sort. No texts are required, no scriptures are required. It is an instant choice given to you, whether you are educated or not. You are going to hear that choice. You are going to hear the choice. While you are crossing the street, look to the right, look to the left. This is an instant. When the moment you see, you know you have to withdraw or you have to move on. These choices don't need any texts and any studies. Consciousness is freely available to you. Advice given, consciousness is freely available to you, because that is the inner voice of God. That is the plane on which we all need to land. So it doesn't have to be by meditation. When you are meditating at a conscious level, but suppose you go and you offer a loaf of bread to a poor man, and he looks at you with a smile. Somewhere deep down in your heart, you feel good. Well, you have touched the consciousness. If there is a small choke in your throat, if you feel there is a throb in your heart, there is a beat in your heart, there is your gooseflesh on you, you know that you have touched consciousness. At that level, when you reach, you will be one with the universal. Those all unanimously who agree to it. Therefore, even today, you consider all these wars and victims and terrorisms and things like that. All of us unanimously agree that this is wrong. We all are at that one common plane where we believe that this is wrong. But we need to continue because the others are not stopping. So the race is who is to stop first? Who is to stop first? So consciousness is something for which if we need to reach out, we don't need any studies. It's just that you need to have a trained mind, that you need to listen to it, and you need to not ignore it every time. If you make it a habit of ignoring, listening to your consciousness, then when the actual choice has to come, you are not able to. Just a few days ago, I was watching some English serial or something, and he just happens to the person, the advice is given is, please make a correct choice. He just says, please make a correct choice. And I had already told you earlier that if your choice is between right and wrong, if you make the choice right, then irrelevant of whatever the happenings happen, the result is joy. Arjun and Duryodhana, both two of them. One was Panda, Arjun is Panda prince, and Duryodhana was Kaurav prince. Arjun was not keen on fighting. Therefore, in the end, he ended up with a little bit of a better situation. So between war and peace, if you are asked to choose, don't choose war. Choose peace. But suppose you are forced to fight, go and fight, but don't choose to fight. Choose. Choice is yours. That choice is important. That is Ichha Shakti. That choice, if it is right, then in the end, your result is going to be right. It's going to be joy. You say, I did not want the battle, but I had to fight because it was forced on me. Yes, okay, but then the result in the end is not going to be bad for you. Because that is the law. If you make a correct choice, you are going to end up with a correct result. A happy result, more than correct result, a very happy result. So it's very important. And for you to make that correct choice instantly and correctly, you need a trained mind. Training from childhood to listen to your consciousness and act accordingly. Then whether it is, should I study or not? Yes, study. Should I back answer my parents? No. Should I tell the lie? No. All these are correct choices. You need to keep on making correct choices in life. So a moment when it comes to an instant action that you need to take, your mind will be trained to do it. For that, you just need to hear your consciousness. And that consciousness is what we call Sadguru or Guru or Kundalini. This is nothing but the voice of consciousness. And that is called Vishwatmak Dev by Jnandev, because it is a universally permeating fiber which is connecting all individuals. At that plane, if we all land together, we will be united mentally, intellectually connected, consciously connected. We will be unanimously agreeing on same issues. If we go to conscious level, all of us, the entire world will be able to unanimously agree on issues. But unfortunately, one goes today, one goes tomorrow, one goes day after, one goes some other day. And therefore, they don't meet at the same time. And some of the desires are outstanding, the distractions and desires are so strong that knowingly that for me the sugar may not be good, I may be tempted to eat. Knowing only we are unable to, that is where that consciousness, therefore for consciousness, you don't need to sit and meditate. Whether you are meditating or not meditating, whether you are in action or you are in the choice comes to you. There and then the voice says, do this, don't do this. And you have to make the correct choice. And that is the universal voice of God. That is what is called Vishwatmak Dev Vagnandev. This is what we are presenting. I have completed Milindond. I have completed writing that book in last 16 days of that Palki, when the palanquin thing was going to Pandari. We finished that booklet. Once it is approved, we'll bring it out. I'll forward you the copy, because it is carrying all the basic key messages of the 4 texts in it. I hope it is approved by the MIT. Let's see. Now you have the trained mind. Then what is another thing? What is the training of mind? What is it going to help you with? It is going to help you to make your mind stable. Yoga is a practice by relating it with prana, breathing system. Otherwise also you should be able to make your mind stable. Because every time, you just become restless. If there is a choice, should I do? And there are very small things, even like should I have tea or coffee? Should I have this drink or that drink? Should I have the bread or should I have the roti? Whatever. These are small dilemmas. But they keep on coming in your life. So for the mind, it keeps on wavering. The wavering mind is not going to help us. What is it not going to help us with? To gain knowledge. You have to have a stable mind to gain knowledge. It's very important that you end up with a stable mind. The mind has to be stable. And for that, one of the practices is yoga through breathing and all. Because as you breathe, you think. As you think, you breathe. So therefore, if you can control thought, you will control breath. Or if you can control breathing, you can control thinking. So therefore, they have found a solution to try and make the mind stable. Because the need is when you are stable alone, you will be able to hear the voice of consciousness. Knowledge is going to then emerge. So it's very important that you train yourself to do these things. The 7th chapter, it introduces to all the chaos which comes out if the mind is untrained. If the mind is not trained, what will happen? The best of the people will get exhausted. The strongest will be exhausted. The most intelligent will be losing. The best of the things in the person will finally, because that is a delusion. You are in the control of delusion. What is delusion? Very beautifully I have analyzed it between Vijnan, Jnana and Adnyan. I have just did it the other day, but I'll just repeat it because it is relevant here. Before I see the mirror, I don't know how I look. So that is ignorance. When I use the mirror to see how I look, That is knowledge made available, but with the help of science, that is Vijnan, external source, so that is Vijnan, that is science. And when I keep the mirror aside, knowing that I'm okay now, that is Jnana. These are the only three things. So whether your instant consciousness, it doesn't need a mirror. It doesn't need hearing, seeing anything. It just emerges. It doesn't need, you don't have to say, now I'm listening to my consciousness, so let it emerge. No, it's going to be loud enough for you to listen. It's going to be loud enough to listen to. Now, what is the Maya, the delusionary factor there is, if I misunderstand that image to be me, the one I see in mirror is not me for sure. It is a replica of me, an image of me. But the moment I understand that science, the one which is seen in the mirror, and the one outside is me, no, then that is illusory. So this is happening with us. Now, just the other day, I was wondering, when I go, if at all I have a dream, my God, I see so many people, and none of them have come out from outside the world. They're all creation of my mind. So my mind can be a visible mind. I can see hundreds of people in my dreams. I can see lots of nonsensical things I can see in my dream. But what is, then I realized what is happening? That my thought is almost, it is like my thought is manifesting it. For example, in my dream, if I'm going through a fire, a jungle, then my thought must be wanting to find a way out. So I'm turning left and right. And then I keep on telling myself, turn left, there is a light, there is a... So I am manifesting my thought because I'm trying to handle my situation in dream. Even in dream, I'm handling my situation. That is because my thought is active. And because I'm trying to handle just the way as I'm handling my day-to-day life with my eyes open, in my dream also I'm handling a situation, and therefore it is manifesting in front of me. Probably the same is happening now. If I'm handling it, the moment I start handling it, things start manifesting. The difference between it is like just a carrot tied to the nose of the horse for it to run. The difference is very little between thought and act, thought and act, thought and act, thought and act. It's manifesting, it's manifesting. It's manifesting. But the moment you start feeling that what you are seeing in the mirror and you as you are, what you are, it is reflecting, both are one, that is illusion. That is illusion. So seeing, knowing exactly without the mirror, without any external media, what is it which is emerging out? Consciousness. Consciousness is what is telling you. Desire is related. If there is a chocolate there and I want to eat the chocolate, it's a desire related. It is a desire related because I can see it. So that is Vijnan. That is Vijnan. My desire is brought out because of that. But consciousness, it doesn't need anything externally. Yes, the other way, the other day I realized that we need a situation. We definitely need a situation for consciousness to emerge. But sometimes consciousness emerges and you realize, you are made to realize about the situation. You may have an argument with your friend and you come back home and then whole night you are restless. You feel that that was not what I expected. I didn't want it to go that way. I didn't want it to happen. And then unless and until you don't again get back to them and clarify it, you feel you're responsible for it. And somehow that consciousness does not permit you to relax till you continuously meet the situation and set it right. For that, we don't need meditation. That is the voice of God. So even if you live by your own consciousness every day, every moment, you are going to be nothing other than God yourself. That is going to fill you with your knowledge which you need, which will give you that status of Lord. Because you need knowledge. Knowledge decides your status in the public. So, but they will say, they will call you knowledgeable. If you tap your consciousness, and if you are only going to let your desires rule, then soon you are going to be far away from consciousness and you will not be hearing it because you have stopped hearing it voluntarily. You have stopped hearing it voluntarily. So an untrained mind, it can tire one's life. It can tire one's life. It's an untrained mind. Imagine instead of Krishna, there would have been somebody else, not knowing that they also not having experienced their battle against Kans, a person of his own relation. And if he wouldn't have had that experience, he would have kept on telling Arjun, I don't know what we should do, but if since you are here, you want to fight, you better fight. But then there would not have been that authenticity which would have changed the mind, which has helped Arjun to think more. So Guru has to have a master mind. He cannot be in a doubtful situation himself. He has to have a master mind. And if he himself is not sure, then he's going to tire a situation. It's going to take more time, and you may not be right because it's going to be duly done. It cannot be. You cannot advise the person. Advise the person. Bhagavad Gita is one of the masterpieces for advice. You take it for any. Don't go by it. It's a common text. It's a text. It's a text of a wise man on a battlefield. It's an advice given by a wise man on a battlefield, and every minute we meet situations in our life which are not. They're not battles with war intentions, but they are battles. The human relations are so complex that we keep on having these mental battles with us. There are people we are very fond of, we are not fond of, we need to be by them. These are continuous battles. So we need to have these code of laws with us. Yes, what are they? If there is a dilemma, what should you do? Think what is good in the long run. Third, do as per your ability. Fourth, do it righteously. Fifth, keep a good, correct motive in mind. Then have a good trained mind to make a quick decision. The decision cannot be prolonged decision. And seventh, if at all it is an untrained mind, you can end up getting tired and you might miss the bus. You might miss the bus. Now we go to the eighth one. Eighth has got a very beautiful, I like this chapter very much. These key sentences have helped me to make a lot of decisions. It says three factors are important. And we know Jag, Jeev and Jagadishwar. That's the world, the individual soul, like you and me, and the Lord. There are three people functioning together on the same project. Any project you take, there are three things involved in it. The world means doesn't have to be a continental world. It means a third party, a second party. You are doing a business. There is a second party involved in it. You're consulting somebody. There's a party is involved in it. You're buying something. A shop is involved in it. There is a second party involved in it. Similarly, there is a third party also which is involved in it, which has brought the two together. It's an unseen hand. It's an unseen hand. But it has brought the two parties together. I need a job. You have a job to offer. We two need to meet. If we don't meet, you might be just next to me. I wouldn't know. I'm looking for a job. The person next to wants a person to work for him. But since we have not expressed ourselves, we don't know that we just leave and we divert and we walk away. So it's very important that interaction is important. That interaction is important. You'll be surprised to know that Jnanadev is at the age of 16 was able to say, even knowledge will split into two, a knower and to be known, for knowledge to exist. It's remarkable the way that Nandiv's mind has, and the surprise is, he was a young boy. A young boy. Today we are holding his hand at our age of 72 to learn what is philosophy. And he was only 16 then. I mean, can you imagine the capacity of enlightenment and understanding and depth or whatever it was? Whatever it was. So it's important. So three factors are involved. Now he himself is the speaker. He is an orator. He is giving the commentary. And what does he say? Oh, the listeners, please see that you bring the best out of me by listening to me carefully. You'll bring the best. And then he tells the third party, the unseen control behind. He says, Guru, my Guru's grace is helping me to voice exactly on subjects like Gita. And you in the audience are helping me to bring out the best. Three factors. Gandhi himself, a speaker, the audience, as well as a guru who's supposed to have made him a speaker without making him actually, without interfering. Nivritinath is just sitting there. But this is the actual law. These eight, I've just touched the ninth one I will touch now, and we will leave the next 9 for the next topic, because it's a huge topic. It's a huge topic. Then this unseen is not seen. We haven't seen. So what does he say? Only if it is tapped by faith, it will be seen. Now, what sort of a faith? Faith is some sort of a measure. I keep on asking my grandson, can we consider it as one of the dimensions? He says, Aji, you use the word, but I'm not sure whether it will make the correct consciousness. Could it be a dimension? I don't know. I'm asking you all because you all are scientifically attuned. Because consciousness is the plane on which only if we all land together, we will unanimously agree on the same issue. If it is a desire related, duty related, whatever it is, all of us will differ. But if it is conscious based, we may not differ. We may not differ. So could that be one of the dimensions, or could that be a plane, a fabric by which we are woven? Like the example given, Milindon gives an example about a painting on the wall. He says the wall is there, the painting is there, the canvas is there. Yes, I'm talking about that canvas. That consciousness is the canvas. If consciousness is the canvas, and if we are all on that, that will be a plane, a fabric on which we are there. Then we may emerge unanimously as equal, because the thought will be equal. Of course, projection may be possible. And I have a feeling this is called the Vishwatmak Dev. Dr. Karad is all the time asking, why has he used the word Vishwatmak? Vishwa Atma, the universal soul. Yes. So it has to be something which is connecting all of us. Unless we don't reach that, we will not be. Like, let's say the water boils at a certain temperature. So the water, if it's a container, flat container, it's boiling. If it has to boil here, it has to boil here. Both have to reach that temperature, that level. Otherwise, they will not boil 100 degree or whatever it is. It starts boiling. So that plane which I'm talking about is the canvas which I'm talking about, or the fabric which is unifying or uniting all of us on unanimously agreeing on unanimous ways. That is, agree together totally without any difference is only possible if we all touch the conscious plane. That's exactly what Jnandev tells Sangdev in Sangdev Pasashti. He says, you instead of trying to find out from outside who I am, why don't you go into your deep heart and know it? The moment you touch your consciousness, you and me will not be two. Now, this sort of a very confident message given by Jnandev is remarkable. Remarkable. In Amrutanubhav, in Haripart, he says, chant the name. In Sangdev Pasashti, he says, you go to your consciousness and you'll meet me there. In Jnaneshwari, he says, you do your duties well and you will come out with knowledge, and that knowledge will show you that it is me and you are same. And in the fourth one, he says, that is the only Amrutanubhav, he says that I will now become the universe. I have become the universe. And he's given a similar example in in Haripat. He says, I have stopped chanting. My Lord is chanting the name now in my heart, and I am able to hear it. So we are glad that we have some saints who have experienced divinity. There are people who are understanding and trying to tell. They are thinkers. They are in search of it. They are trying to find out. But there are some masters who have found out the truth. And we are glad that some of them are known to us. Because otherwise we would not have had a measure to reach up to. So now we know what exactly we have to have. We have to have a stable mind. We have to have a knowledge which comes up. That knowledge which will sprout peace is going to be the universe. Which is going to give you peace, not another question. Please get me some water. Sorry about that. Yes, the same will do. Same will do. So we all need to understand that our questions have to stop. Suppose I ask you, where do you stay? And you say, I am staying in the hospital. Then I say, where is the hospital? And you say, it's near my house. Have you given me the address? No. You have not given me the address. So my question does not stop. My question does not stop. So there is no peace. When the answer is complete, mind is peace. So it's a logic. It's a logic. Your answer is given to you, so you are at rest for 2 minutes at least, till the next question comes. But regarding the first question, you are at peace. So the knowledge which sprouts the peace is the actual answer to you. So Bhagwadgeeta, whether you take Bhagwadgeeta, you take Nandev's works, you take the 4 Sanghyupa Srishti, Haripat, whatever you take. Now we know what we need to do. We have to have stable mind for the knowledge to be emerging and for it to sprout into peace, or you live by consciousness. And for consciousness, to meet consciousness, we don't need anything external. We don't need meditation, we don't need mirror, we don't need a seeing act, anything. It just emerges. This emergence is the change. The emergence of the consciousness in us is actually the Chaitanya. If we live by it, we will definitely be going towards light and enlightenment. Now we will stop with these 9 chapters. The next 9 we will take up next time. And okay, any questions? Your mics are mute in case you wish to unmute it, please. All of you. Your mics are mute. Any questions? Shirali?
Mute ke length mein.
No, mute.
Okay, Vishaka, Milind, Purandare?
No, that was good.
Milind,
That was good synopsis. Yeah. Can you hear me, Swamiji?
yes, I can.
No, that was very good. That was a good summary of the Bhagwadgeeta, the meat.
Very good, very good. Thank you. No, I'm sure. That's why I like to share it, because you're also a writer. I like to share it with people who are also. They have submitted one document to Bhakti Karadna. Let's hope that it comes out. If they accept it, they may want to print it. Otherwise, we'll print it, of course. But, yes, that was the summary. Okay, what about you, Purandari? How is it?
Yes, I found it really very enlightening and very concisely presented. It was very useful. Thanks.
Yes. No. And then the next 9 also, our chapters are going to be very beautifully put. And we will have key notes with us, which can save us from our day-to-day situation. That is why Bhagavad-Gita is considered as one of the most powerful texts. A philosophic text. But it can be applied to any field, because it can be applied to a man taking decisions. Okay. So should we end the whole thing now? All right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. And see that Vishaka loads it tomorrow so that my friend can see here. Okay.